I'm Dr. Aarti. Namaste, sir. You just used the word Sanskrit non-translatables. My question is based on that. As a Sanskrit teacher myself, and I profusely interact with youth, many times the question that comes to me is the word vada, the word charcha, they are badly understood. People are completely confused about what is a debate and what is an argument. So, such problems I always see. And for example, when a Westerner or an outsider approaches India, that is mistaken to be appreciation. I think I shared one of my experiences with you. Once I had gone to Madurai, I saw a bunch of foreigners in the temple going around in Indian dress. I was also quite happy, but I had read Rajiv Malhotra ji. So then I was observing where they go. They came outside, and there was a bunch of nuns there, Christian nuns, who took them to a nearby hotel, gave them a questionnaire and made them write down. So I understood the whole drama. So at least some youth like us are fortunate enough to be in contact with you. But I'll come directly to the question. So what happens is the word vada is always misunderstood. The word dharma is misunderstood. Shraddha is misunderstood. And mata, abhimata and mata are misunderstood as some very assertive phonetic school. So maybe we are also confused about that because we are so attached to our mata, our other cults, we don't have a bigger picture. So my request, I'd like to request in your presence, because there are so many Sanskrit scholars here, I'm also a Sanskrit teacher and student, can we form a database where a very standardized understanding of these words is formed? That's very important.
Sanskrit non-translatable is one of the most important areas of my interest. So my experience of Sanskrit is primarily discovering more and more deeper experiences of certain non-translatables. Like, what does it mean in my life? How do I experience it? Because it's not just an intellectual thing. And I firmly believe that if we can explain to people, let's say we start with 108 non-translatables to keep it manageable, and we make it part of every child's vocabulary, even if he speaks English. He can speak English, but he will say Shraddha, he will say Atman and not soul, he will say Dharma and not religion, and he will know the difference. He will know how to argue and say, no, this is the difference. If you say soul animals don't have, plants don't have, which Atma, okay. And for a long time the church believed that blacks don't have a soul, and there was also a debate on whether women have a soul. You know that in the church there was a debate. A long time ago there was a debate, people asking, so, and soul doesn't reincarnate. The idea of the whole relationship of soul to God is not the same because there's dualism. So you can take every one of these non-translatables. In my book Being Different, I've done one chapter on non-translatables and I've explained only 20 of them. But that project, if you want to start, I would love to be part of it. We should create one of my books that I'll never probably live long enough to write, but one of the books I started writing is 108 non-translatables. Maybe we can do it together. And once we develop this 108, then the idea is that we teach, every week you teach 2 of them. So in a year you get through most of them. And so every child should learn this, and no matter what language he's using, because each Sanskrit non-translatable word is a whole ecosystem. It brings with it many other things. To understand that, you have to bring in something. And as long as you're using that word, gradually you'll begin to learn more and more things also about Sanskrit and Sanskriti. So starting with 108 is very, very powerful. And it can be done. The 108 non-translatable project is a very powerful project. And I hope one of the collaborations we can do is something like that.
When something comes through a textbook, through a university, it has more weightage. And whatever we do, the little books, we have to go around selling people. So if it gets a university acknowledgement, if such a database is standardized and published through a university with some big names who write forwards for that, and if it is standardized, where no Trimata Bheda or other Bhedas headaches come into, and that is very, very important, sir, because in field I see the necessity so for our own students, more than for
one thing I can tell you, if I were doing this book, I would get it published by a very prestigious press and make it into an international thing. I'll go around, give talks, lectures like I'm doing with this book. So if I were to get a co-author, 1 or 2 who want to work with me on this, if the book is a good book, we will make sure it gets recognized. So I need help because there's only so much I can do and I have too many projects going on. So if you want, contact me.
One small remark with regard to this. In fact, I tried to translate several Sanskrit words, particularly words in philosophy, into English. It is almost impossible, to tell you honestly. So what we are expected to do is give the concept it represents. So it requires nearly one paragraph explanation or something. In that way, the Sanskrit words we have to interpret it in English, otherwise nobody will take it. Particularly when you are actually arguing with the Westerners, you have to tell something in English only. So what you are expected to do is, this is the concept represented by this particular word. There cannot be one-to-one correspondence in translation. This is my suggestion.
Well, certain words like yoga, you just introduce the word and make sure it does not get distorted. By actively introducing a word which has no substitute, and every attempt to substitute we keep negating and saying that doesn't get it, you don't get it, you don't get my meaning. The moment you say religion, you don't get it, it's not the same thing. Over a period of time, if our people are assertive, it will become a global word. So that is what we have to do. We start with empowering our own people with a good new vocabulary, and then it will spread from there.
Sir, before closing, so I would like to, I'm reminded of something which is very important in this context of non-translatability of Sanskrit terms. As you pointed out, we should encourage the teaching of Sanskrit in the medium of Sanskrit. So this is very important. Otherwise, now people are thinking that who teach in Sanskrit, who learn Sanskrit in the Sanskrit medium, think that we are second grade teachers and second grade, students. So, yeah, the domination of English is also a problem for Sanskrit. Yes. So how to really get rid of this problem. So at the same time, last 7 years we have been working in a big way by establishing an email list called Bharatiya Vidvat Parishad. It is purely Swadeshi Indology list, where we have around 1,800 scholars working, actively participating in the list.
But how come you never made me member?
Yeah, that's what in this gathering, we are overwhelmed and we welcome you to our list.
Do it today.
Yeah, thank you very much. So